they need the most help. Their voters don't see enough good conservatives because their leaders block our discourse. Don't let voters see, at least not with approval, good videos that would be good for them and their families. Remember, if you ran as a Democrat, you're adding flavor. You're not tarnishing yourself. You're wearing their letter for a few months. It's like wearing a bad sweater. Okay, you take it off. But it doesn't change you. And that's why I encourage almost every conservative, newcomer or incumbent, to run in Democrat Party primaries. The only exception is where you have state laws, they're called sore loser laws, that are enforced and that would then keep you from running in the general election. But if during the primaries you make inroads, you're not going to win, but you're going to get some converts. You're going to get a lot of people within the Democrat Party who can start to realize that you're not the devil. You don't carry a pitchfork or have horns on your head. That we conservatives are nice people. Democrat isn't an all leftist bloc. They're controlled right now at the leadership level by the leftists. But just as Republican isn't all conservative, you are adding a little color to their wide spectrum, okay? You're adding red or even infrared. You can help conservatives invade the Democrat Party. And that means you become a candidate for local office. That happens on the odd years or on the even years, statewide or legislative offices. That is ideal. And you can be true to your Democrat friends and to yourself simultaneously. Here, you give them the conservative you, which happens to coincide with what most Democrats of the 1970s, 80s, 90s were looking for, and probably most Democrats even now. Their leaders don't give them the choice of being a moderate, normal voter. They have only the left. You can provide an alternative. You are probably, as a conservative, better for any Democrat who joined for the sake of women's rights, okay? Because your party's leaders have nearly, or the Democrats, have nearly enslaved small business owners. And women now start more businesses than men. Democrat leaders put down most African Americans. A lot of people signed on to the Democrat Party because it seemed like they were better for civil rights. But now, their leaders treat African Americans horribly, okay? They don't enforce policing in high crime neighborhoods that afflict African Americans more than whites. They encourage illegal immigration to take blacks' jobs. They even create a bigger and bigger wealth gap. They do that with despicable labor practices, and they do that by supporting the Social Security system that we all know puts down lower income earners compared to high income earners. And finally, most horrifically, blacks are at the losing end of Democrat policy on education, okay? Urban education in America is so bad, and it's bad because of politics. It's not just ineptness. It's deliberate kowtowing to a teachers' union that does not want to put quality teaching into urban schools and totally fears, and they get their way so far, of having choice in schools. Maybe you joined, if you're a Democrat, for an environmentalist stance, okay? For a while they appeared better in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But Democrat leaders today, not good on the environment. They do not like cap and trade, and here's why. Cap and trade is a relatively free market. That means others choose. Democrat leaders prefer that they choose and use government rewards and, yes, government punishments on businesses that could be cleaner if they really wanted to. Democrats of the 60s, 70s, 80s were anti-big business. But now they're pro-big. Not only that, they tie themselves to big pharma, big media, big manufacturing. That's where the money is. And now that's also where power is. The most powerful thing is not government, it is private enterprise. But the big Democrat leaders are happy to co-opt big enterprise and make it almost one. Democrats used to be anti-war, not anymore. Democrats used to be anti-spying, not anymore. They really want to invade our privacy. And they used to be anti-corruption. I mean, Democrat leaders were the ones who impeached or were about to impeach Richard Nixon for things that paled in comparison to the predations that modern Democrat elected officials have done. And look, if you don't believe me, please, with an open eye, just look at 2 minutes of Miranda Devine's reporting on Hunter Biden. Okay? Tell yourself, irrespective of prior bias, whether Hunter Biden is any better than Nixon's henchman. I am hopeful that Democrats wake up, but it takes a conservative prod at this point. And what do we have to lose? Because conservatives are not doing very well. So, wear the D label for a bit. Maybe we get strong enough that we start to control the Democrat Party, bring it back to its old ways, and where will the leftists go? To the Communist Party, where they belong. Small, hopefully uninfluential, a little thought place for Bernie Sanders types, but not any longer a governing monopoly. I'm Mark Stewart.